Road Dogg, who was our agent, he was like, and try to squeeze one through there. He's a big boy. He can cover up. And I'm like, pardon? Because if you get him and you cut him, it's good for us. What? And he went, red equals green, big guy. And I'm
red equals green.
Okay, there it is. I was chatting with Cody before coming on the podcast, and he said to tell you that at the Nightmare Factory, they show their students a clip of you in Vienna to teach them how to work the apron.
Yeah, there's a clip.
Have you seen this clip?
I have not.
Holy.
If Meryl Streep shows up on heels, that would be...
He's a fan.
And she needs to get color. Matt?
In the history of professional wrestling, okay, there's some families that are iconic, right?
Yes.
You've got the Rhodes family.
Right.
You've got the Von Erich family. I mean, we have the bloodline that we're seeing in today's wrestling, right? It's very historical. We also have another historical family of wrestling. It's the Spade family.
Oh, jeez.
Yes,
there you go.
Wow.
Putting that pressure on you right out of the get-go.
No idea where that was going.
With the DWL, what they did for indie wrestling and what the Spade family did is very historical, in my opinion. And we have the eldest son.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Jack Spade is in the house today. Some would know him as Stephen Amell.
I didn't even think there'd be a Dusty Rhodes if it weren't for Jack Spade.
I love the idea.
There it is. I love it, man.
Well, I had Tom Spade.
Yeah.
Tom Spade.
Yes. Well, if it wasn't for Tom Spade.
That's amazing. I had no idea where you were going there. Well done.
Yeah, there's no telling. You just got to, sometimes you just got to wait and wait for the ride.
And now I regret
then.
that opening because he is from Toronto, and I didn't even mention the Hart family here. So.
No, well, listen, that'd be Alberta, right?
Yeah.
Which is a very, very far
Well,
trip
I mean, it's
from
Canada
Toronto.
in general, right? I feel like Canada just claims
Sure, right.
the
Just
Hart family.
But people take Toronto and Vancouver and Calgary and Montreal, and they think that they're all within like a 7-iron of each other.
Well, they should be, right?
They're not. And we were talking off air about the distance between Sydney and Perth, and yeah, well, I actually did the same thing, so I'm not one to talk. But yeah, they're not. I don't think Toronto identifies with the Hart family.
They don't?
No.
Not like Calgary, Alberta.
No, when they brought Brett back, they didn't bring him back at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. They brought him back at the Saddle Dome or whatever it's called now in Calgary.
Yeah. That'd be like, that's like edge country up there, I would think.
Toronto's edge.
Yeah,
Yes.
Toronto. Is he from Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Christian both, I think. were
Yeah,
up
I
in
knew that
area.
they were from Canada, but I didn't realize they were from Toronto.
I was in
area.
the house when he won his first singles belt at the Sky Dome, actually, at a house show against Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they gave it to him.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a lifetime like wrestling fan?
Lifetime wrestling fan. I started back at, I remember going to see WrestleMania 5 on closed circuit TV at Maple Leaf Gardens in '89, and then WrestleMania 6 in '90 at the Sky Dome was straight up the biggest moment of my life up until that point. I was just about to turn, I think I was just about to turn 10. And I was a big Hogan guy. And yeah, I mean, when my parents wanted to punish me in 3rd grade, they took away my wrestling magazines.
That's a little stuff. That's a little stiff, man.
Yeah, it was. I found them.
I
found them. But no, they took them away.
It's funny, though, because back then, that was the only way you knew what was going on around the country, because it was still...
Yeah, I mean, when I first discovered the magazines like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I mean, I would have no idea who a guy like Ric Flair was, as an example. I have no idea. Like, no, bad.
That's like
okay.
Japan.
Oh, man.
Well, but I wouldn't know, because the access that I had in Toronto was the WWF magazine that would come out monthly that my dad would bring home for me, and then the shows on Saturday in the middle of the day, Sunday middle of the day. I would never be allowed to stay up to watch Saturday night's main event, and then there would be a pay-per-view, and if I didn't go see it, like I saw WrestleMania 5 in the Hot Stove Lounge at Maple Leaf Gardens, then I would wait for it to come out on VHS, go rent it on a Friday night, and I wouldn't be allowed to watch it on the Friday night, so I'd watch it at 3:30 in the morning on Saturday.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm starting to question my own fandom now. That's
I am
dedication,
too.
man.
That is insane
Yeah.
because, there's two things I got from that. First, I did the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
we weren't, when I was a kid, we didn't have a whole bunch of money. So, like, being able to get like a pay-per-view or something like that just was out of the question, right? So I had to wait till it hit VHS and Harley
Yeah.
Video, and usually about every couple of weeks. And I kind of figured out it was called Pay Week. And my dad would be like, hey, we're going to go to Little Caesars, get a pizza. And
Man.
it said, and Little Caesars was right beside Harley Video and little independent video place, no Blockbuster.
Our spot was Video Flix on Avenue Road in Toronto.
So I would go, and I was the one. I'm going over and I'm looking at all the VHSs for the Survivor. I just distinctly remember like the Survivor Series covers or whatever for the VHS boxes. But I would do the same thing. And then the second part I took out of what you just said was the territories. The fact that you didn't know who Ric Flair was,
No
or
idea.
you never got to see those matches without opening up that magazine of Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
I mean, when he showed up a couple of years later in WWF, I was like, "That's the guy that I know from the magazines," but I didn't know him. I got a question for you. We guys call it a trump on this podcast when the interviewee asks the questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
we call it being Trump. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Mr. President.
Have you? Jesus. Have you ever? Did you ever watch a pay-per-view that you couldn't afford, so you didn't buy, so you watched it through the?
The squiggly lines. That's where I saw.
I watch porn like that.
Yes, that too.
My buddy just
I
raised
say
his
that out
hands
loud?
over there.
Everyone knows about the squiggly lines. All of a sudden you catch a nipple, and you're like, "Oh God!"
They keep you invested. They know what they were doing.
Bro, they
keep you invested, right?
I tell you what, if looking back at it as a marketing major, I would have bought ads on that squiggly line channel. And just had ads pop up about every 5 to 10 minutes because everybody was watching that. And I would go towards that demographic of about 15 to 16-year-olds. But the
Might we
pay-per-views,
digress?
I remember being on just a vacation with my parents and stuff. Once again, we're in a mosey-wosey motel in Myrtle Beach, and all piled up in one room. And the room beside us bought the Tyson... Was it McNeely fight? The white dude that he fought coming out of
When
prison?
he first came back?
Yeah, when he first came out of prison.
Peter McNeely.
Yeah.
Yes. So when they fought, the room beside it bought the pay-per-view, okay? And RTV was picking it up sporadically.
Okay, sorry, here's the thing. I don't want to take away from your childhood, but they put that on free TV.
Was it?
Yeah.
They did?
They put that on Fox.
That was a
remember.
Fox fight? That wasn't a pay-per-view?
Everyone knew that it wasn't going to be, like it wasn't going to last.
I watched it on a channel that was literally not good. I hope that it was a pay-per-view, and the fact that whatever motel we were staying at, the channel wasn't that bad for a broadcast channel. But no, I would do that. I mean, like the squiggly lines for the wrestling matches and stuff. But the VHSs, it wasn't until I became a teenager before I ever watched an actual like WrestleMania live for a pay-per-view. Yeah. It was always, I would go get the VHS and watch it.
Halcyon days.
Yeah. It's changed a lot now. I mean, the fact that
Now you get to go and sit there and soak it all in live, man.
Yeah.
I do. I get this year for WrestleMania. I don't know if you heard or not, but Undertaker showed up to WrestleMania.
Oh, I know.
This year. So I'm sitting in the suite or whatever with my wife, and we look over, and he pops up and walks out, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Well, I ate the egg rolls too," I thought.
Wow.
And we get it. I mean, it's getting towards the end of the night.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of chilling out, watching the matches and stuff. And my wife's like, "Where's Mark at?" I was like, "I don't know." It's like he's probably got another suite he has to go to and shake hands or whatever, kiss babies. And she's like, "No, he's coming out tonight." I was like, "He's not coming out tonight." And of course, he comes out, and she's like, "Did you not know?" I was like, "No, not at all."
There was I don't know how many people, 15, 20 people. The only person in that suite that knew was my wife and me. Everybody else was, I guess, kayfabe isn't completely dead.
Yeah.
So I kayfabe the whole of my closest friends and family.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like, where's he
pretty
going?
Cool. So what drew you to wrestling? What was the draw for you?
Oh gosh, I mean, I like, I like the performance of it. I like the athleticism of it. I like the storytelling of it. I don't know if I understood that when I first started watching it, but there was just something about the performers and the packaging, and then I think also there was probably a little bit of an adversarial element to it, because you would tell someone that you like pro wrestling and then they'd have a problem with it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, I mean, you know, right? Like it's fake. And I'd be like, yeah. Well, actually, when I was a kid, that is not what I said. I said, no, it's not. Yeah. And now I'm an adult and I go, no, it's not, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
If you understand what it is, and
Sure.
no, it's not fake.
Yes.
It's a different form of entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anything that you put your blood, your sweat, and your tears into is not fake. Anything that resonates with people the world over is not fake. Anything that draws an emotional connection to the audience is not fake. In the same way that Philip Seymour Hoffman on a stage, you know, in the West End, you know, eliciting something from an audience, that's not fake. You know,
Yeah.
Is he reciting lines? Sure. Has he prepared? Has he rehearsed? Yeah, but there's still something that takes over when you're in front of a crowd that is genuine and authentic. And if it was just a flash in the pan, then, you know, it'd be like the Gangwa guy or Gangnam Style or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That thing happens and then it goes away. But wrestling's been happening for like nearly a century. I mean, how long has professional wrestling in its current form been around? You know, I mean, what, 50s, 60s?
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's been around.
I mean, it stood the test of time. And I think that, you know, you see people like me all the time, which is to say that you see people that liked it when they were 7, 8, 9 years old. They got into it. There's typically a lull, and there's a time where you sort of step away from the product, and then inevitably, invariably, you find yourself right back where you began.
Yeah.
And I love, like, I'm going to go to the Rumble this year. They just announced Elimination Chamber at Rogers Center, Skydome, and they've only done 3 events there. This will be the 3rd, and I've been to the other 2, so I'm going to go. And then I'm going to make my way back to Mania this year after begrudgingly but appropriately missing it last year.
Yeah.
So that's my answer. That's my long answer to why I like it.
No, but that's good, and that's the same way with me as before I got into the business.
Sure.
As I was thinking about getting into the business, like I was a huge fan as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was nothing that I missed. I grew up in Houston wrestling, Paul Bosch.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got into other sports and did other things and went on to school and everything else, you know, I kind of got away from it. And then I just happened to meet a guy one day that tried to talk me into, well, he did end up talking me into, you know, going to wrestling camp. And then I caught back up, you know, I got back into it and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is different, but it's good. Yeah, so that's funny that I think that happens with a lot of people, that they can poke their head in and they can, and I think it too, in your line of work, is with a series or something, people can get invested in it and move away, and then.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people enjoyed the first season of Arrow, and they, you know, and then they go away from it because maybe, you know, their lives change. They have kids. They go to school. Something changes, and so they don't watch it on a weekly basis. But then, you know, it gains a second life on Netflix, or it'll probably shift to Max at some point. And someone that, you know, first watched it or watched the pilot of the first season in 2012 and 13 is going to come back to it 15 years later and go, oh, yeah, I enjoyed this once upon a time.
Yeah.
And then they're going to find it again. So, yeah.
What years did you kind of go away from the product?
I want to say that somewhere around WrestleMania 21. I definitely remember watching 20 because it was an MSG. And then I don't remember that 22, 23, 24 era, and then I really think that when I really came back to it was when they debuted the network. And I can't remember the year, but I remember that it was the Mania in New Orleans, where you and Brock fought, and it was like, okay, wait, for $14 a month or $9.99 or whatever the promotion was, I can just get all of the pay-per-views,
even if that's all you're watching.
well,
it's worth it.
But it wasn't just that. It's just that I got all this time to kill on set. And, you know, I had an Apple TV in my trailer, so I can get the WWE Network. And it's like, wait a minute, you're putting all of the library on here? Yeah. Like, I can go back and watch WrestleMania 6. Like, I can just go watch it, like tip to tail, just like I would watch it on a VHS tape. Like, that was the big hook for me. And then I, of course, watched Mania, and I found myself getting back into the to the product.
That's kind of the same thing kind of happened to me, I think, because it was like, I'm 41. I was probably like 14, 15, where I was probably about 14 when I stopped watching it on a religious basis. And then it was
no. But that was when you were 14, I would have been 16. And that's the Attitude Era.
Yep. So the Attitude Era for me was, I was the Monday Night Wars. I was a WCW guy.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry.
I was a jabroni.
Yeah, I was a WCW guy. I would flip over to Raw, see a little bit of Stone Cold or whatever.
Sure.
And then it was I would get my belly full on WWE during pay-per-views and stuff, because I'd go to my friends' houses and they'd go get the black box, and we would steal the pay-per-views.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I would.
You owe me money. You owe me money. Just saying.
Statute of limitations. So and that was my experience for that. So it was probably about 14, 15. I kind of quit watching it on a religious basis, and then I would watch like the pay-per-views and stuff.
Yeah.
And about that time, I mean, like 15 years old, started getting into cars and first girlfriends, and 16 to 17, all that stuff.
28.
And then it, like, throughout my 20s and stuff, I never watched it.
Yeah.
My nephew loved it. So the only time I ever watched it was if I was around him. He would have me watch it. I didn't know anything that was going on. Nothing. I had no idea. The whole Ministry of Darkness is all new stuff for me now, because I didn't watch it then live. I go back now and watch it. But it was definitely when I first met him, and I literally subscribed to the WWE Network when you had your match in New Orleans with John Cena.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the first. That day, I subscribed to the WWE Network for that pay-per-view, for that WrestleMania.
Yeah. Are you still? Is this network still around?
Yeah, the network's not around anymore. It's with Peacock.
Right?
Yeah.
I should know that, but I don't.
Yeah.
You should.
I should know that. But as I often say on the show, CTE is real. But so Heels comes along.
Yes.
That you must have been when you agent or whoever calls, you have to be going, oh, that's me.
That's exactly what happened, except it was preceded by, we had just announced that Arrow was going to end, and I just done the big TCAs, which is the Television Critics Association, big weekend promoting the final season, and I had met with my people in LA, and they're like, so this is, I guess, July, August of 2019, and they're like, okay, so we're officially on the road to the end here. What do you think's next? And I said, I don't know, maybe a break, but I'd like to get away from TV a little bit, and I'd like to get away from a role that is so physical.
Well.
And then my manager gets in touch with me, and he goes, listen, you've got to, there's a script that's coming, and there's an offer that's following, and it's a real offer, and it's a real script, and it's about independent wrestling in, small town Georgia, and you got to give it a read. And I got 5 pages in, and I went, I mean, obviously, this is what I'm going to do.
Mark,
Yes, sir.
our great sponsor here, Artisan Grange. We've talked about them for a while now. These guys got a little CBD pouch, 5 milligrams, great flavors.
Which flavor is this?
This is the wintergreen. So if you're trying to come off dip or anything like that, you gotta have to cut. These are brand new cans. Artisan Grange help you out. Ooh, look at you with your knife. I've seen you sitting over there with that today.
I thought I might need it.
Artisan Grange is a company started when a group of former tobacco dippers wanted a dip alternative that actually tasted like tobacco. So they decided to make one on one condition. It supports American farmers. No matter what your taste, hemp dip satisfies without tobacco, nicotine, or fake fillers. Each pouch contains 5 milligrams of full spectrum CBD from the hemp. The community of hemp dippers who have switched from tobacco and other alternatives is a proud group of dippers who have pride in dipping as a simple pleasure again. One you can do because you want to, not because you have to, and supporting the American tradition of farm quality. So, thank you, Artisan Grange, for sending us some of this product. You gotten in there yet?
I can't get in.
What is, man? You can tell you're from the West Coast over here in Texas.
The West Coast. The Southwest Coast.
It smells good. It smells like a wintergreen.
Did you get one?
Yeah, it tastes pretty good.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, thank you, Artisan Grange, once again for supporting 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway.
Thank you, Artisan Grange.
I love it. I love the script. The guy that wrote it, Michael Waldron, he grew up in a town like Duffy, and he was a Flair guy and a Dusty guy,
Yeah.
and that's where he cut his teeth, and oh my gosh, I forgot where I was going to go with this. Oh yes, I was like, yeah, I mean, listen, guys,
Yeah, guardrails.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guardrails. I'm only going to do. Thank you. See, it's not all bad. Okay,
I've been taking some supplements.
Short term.
Trying to help with.
Short term's good.
Yeah, and I was like, listen, guys, okay, typically a lead on a TV show is a 6-year contract. I said, listen, I'm not going to sign for any more than 2 years. And, I want a limit on the number of episodes per year. And they came back and they said, it's a 6-year contract and no. And I went, deal.
Well, you drive a hard bargain, brother.
Yeah.
Your negotiation skills are impeccable.
Yeah, I guess the frustrating thing with Heels was the fact that it went to camera in 2020. And is that the reason why we only got 2 seasons? I think it was a variety of things, but yeah, it was such an amazing experience and a great group of people. And the love of wrestling really came through Michael Waldron's writing. And anyone that I've seen or talked to in the business that, like I was backstage at a show and Arn Anderson came up to me and he was like, "How do you guys know this stuff?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it does. Like
Yeah.
when I remember when the movie The Wrestler came out.
Yeah.
I was ready to just dissect it and rip it apart.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I was like, holy crap, that's a really fair assessment of somebody that's been to the top and not got out. And
Yeah.
and I was like, and I told Mickey Rourke that I was like, damn, I was ready to shred this thing. And then when you see a series about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tear this. I'm like, because my wife was watching it.
Okay.
She was watching it, and and because I don't. Every once in a while, a series will come along that I watch, like Sons and all those I got into, but I don't normally watch a lot of TV other than sports and news. I'm trying to break that habit. But anyway, so like she watches when she goes to sleep, she puts it on her iPad and she lays there. So anyway, she ends up going to sleep, and I'm like, what the hell is she watching?
I'm tickled. This is fantastic.
Yeah, so I end up, so like I'm like trying to look over her shoulder, and I'm like, well, crap. So I go out and just go back into the office, and I'm looking at what are heels. So I start looking up, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I want to see what this is right here. But there's such nuance in the thing, details. Like you can tell either someone has done incredible research and have talked to obviously wrestlers, or someone's that and a huge fan of the product, and you could tell that that people are familiar, like your part especially, and the writing of it. There's so much nuance in it that you go, I catch myself doing that, like okay.
Well,
it's like a tip of the hat. Cause it's like,
I mean, there were a couple of things that I think we had working to our advantage. One, Waldron was a huge fan. Two, there are a handful of stories out there that exist that are these larger than life stories. Like in the first season, Wild Bill going and getting wasted on the plane. And putting on his robe. And,
There was a lot of.
Okay, I don't think we have.
Hey, go ahead.
Okay,
I'll get that out of my
There's one of those, but one of the big resources that I had at my disposal was Cody Rhodes, because he and I became friends in 2015, but then I did his show All In 2018, and I watched him basically. He went out and did his match in the middle of the card against Nick Aldis. Is it Aldis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was going to say Atlas. Aldis. But then he came back and he was back in Gorilla and he had the headphones on and, I remember him just getting super hot because one of the matches had gone long and, it's all the things that you do to manage a show. And also the way that he interacted with the talent and the boys and the girls prior to the show backstage and, giving pep talks and, keeping everyone on point. And so I just stole all that and tried to put that on screen.
No, it's so good. It's like a wrestling show inside of a wrestling show between between the story that you're telling and then you wrap the wrestling around it. I have to say, like, I wanted to be a critic, but I really enjoyed it to the point where I wish there was another season of it.
Well, I mean, listen, it's we've been very, very fortunate because sometimes when these things go away, that's it. But we premiered in the United States on Netflix on September 15th, and we did it without any pomp, any circumstance, any advertising behind us. It's just simply word of mouth, and we've seen that word of mouth carry the show. It hasn't hit a top 10 list or anything like that, but the numbers have been good and getting steadily better. So, I really don't want to end the series with me quite literally on my back. And I would also love the opportunity to go and film when we aren't going to be dealing with all of the policies and protocols that we had in place because of the pandemic.
Sure.
Which was just, it just doesn't lend itself to the most cohesive type of
creativity and everything else.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, if you need to look any further, talk about another time that I fell away from the product. I couldn't watch a match with no crowd there to save my life. I think the only thing good, frankly, that came out of that period of time, or one of the only things, was your match against AJ at Mania.
That was a total blessing for us. But I think, and I could be the only one that thinks this way. I think the kind of WWE took off to another trajectory post COVID and everything. I think because they did do that. That was the only. That was the only, and UFC did it eventually.
As well. Yep.
Yeah, but they were the only ones out there putting out new content. Yes, it sucked. I mean, I'm not the product, the work.
But it was available.
I'm certainly, it's not meant to be criticism of the work.
No,
at all. Certainly,
I shouldn't.
But the crowd is a big player
the crowd
in a
is
match.
huge.
Yeah.
But I think the effort that WWE went to put out new content was appreciated. And then, people, because it was new, people got invested in it. And then when everything was done, it was positioned for where it's gone now.
Because people were just looking for any type of content at that point. And then you take folks that may have gotten away from the product at one point, and now they go back to it because it's something new. It's something that we're not playing basketball games, we're not doing whatever. At least I've got something to watch here. And then you watch it and you go, okay, that person is really good. Like, I really like looking at that person, or I like watching that person, or whatever. I'm going to come and I'm going to stick with this. And all of a sudden, once the crowd gets there, you're like, holy crap!
But I guess maybe without the crowd, you also focused on different things during the match. You really had to watch the work.
Yes,
because there's nothing to pan to. There's no woos, there's no yay boo, there's nothing. It's just the workers. I think that I think that you're right, because the WWE came out ahead, UFC came out ahead, and the other sport that did it was golf, PGA.
Yeah.
They came back fast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sit and watch. I watch all the majors. I love them. I think the Masters might be like my favorite actual, real sporting event, weekend 4-day event possibly, but like I was sitting down and watching like the St. Jude.
Whatever's on.
Give me sports.
Something. Yeah. That's
between that and the Tiger King. I mean, that's what got us through COVID. I feel
God damn it! God damn the Tiger King! Our movie Code 8 debuted on Netflix in the early part of 2020, and we would have gone #1 everywhere in the world if it wasn't for the Tiger King.
Why do you always got to bring up stuff? It gets our guests upset.
Just something.
I had the impeccable timing of not going to, not there, but I went to Myrtle Beach to what's his name, Doc Annell's place, right? And me and my wife are doing PSAs with tigers and all this other crap. And this one, he goes, have you seen Tiger King yet? And I'm like, no.
It's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no clue. I live in a cave pretty much. People think I know everything about wrestling and all.
I think you were in Florida on vacation too. I think you were with the in-laws.
And we're posting all this stuff. And he goes, "Hey, might want to check out Tiger King." I'm like, "Oh, good God, no! Why?" And I got all these PSAs with tigers, and I got bit by a tiger.
The tiger bitch,
Yeah, it was a little tiger. Okay, it was not a big tiger.
But it was
little tigers have sharp teeth. But anyway,
the week he posts pictures with all these tigers is the same week that Tiger King came out.
I don't even know what Tiger King's about. I refused.
You never watched it?
Nope,
I didn't either.
To this day? No. He comments on your social media stuff.
Does he?
Oh yeah. From prison.
They want me to send money to? Is he still in prison?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're able to get on social media and stuff.
Okay. Man, get off the Tiger King. I want to talk about heels.
But yeah. So I discovered heels through Netflix a few months ago when it debuted on there. But I was the person that when I first saw that it came out, I was like, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be whatever. But I'm in agreement with you. I watched it and man, I was addicted to it because I'm on a flight. I fly constantly.
Yeah.
So like, it was to a point where I would go home for a couple of days and I was itching to watch episodes at the house. And I wouldn't because I knew in 3 days I'm going to get on a flight again and I wanted to wait and just watch it on the flight.
That compliment's even better than the compliment before. That's great. Fantastic.
Because I really enjoyed it.
Like a fine wine. You're saving it for
exactly.
that. Okay,
exactly.
all right.
So there had to have been, I'm trying to think of the right term. Obviously, there had to have been somebody from the wrestling business feeding some of this.
Not that I know of.
Just through story.
Not that I know of. I think it was just like tales from the road, like the tales of lore.
Just the tales of lore. Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up reading. During the Attitude Era, I would read all the rumor sites, and you would hear about stuff from there and.
Trash. It's trash stuff.
It's all
Internet
fake.
ruined the business.
Well, okay. But
I'm a little old school.
I don't know that anyone in particular fed stuff. They would lean on me sometimes for stories, and of course we had we had CM Punk come on in the first season and then be
He
with
did a
us.
good job,
He was
man.
great, wasn't
Dude,
he?
his character
really
out
was.
there was so
Rick
funny.
Rabies was that
Ricky
his name?
Rabies?
Rick Rabies, man. Yeah.
Except the first time I saw him, he's like, they wanted him to wrestle and they wanted to take off his tattoos, and he's like, I think it'll be fun. And I go, yeah, maybe once, but man, do you have any idea how long you're going to be sitting in the makeup trailer for? And it's like,
I didn't even dawn on me that he didn't have tattoos.
didn't have tattoos.
It didn't even dawn on
And the
me.
fact that you didn't notice is one of the reasons I was right. I mean, although I guess it really differentiates him from CM Punk, Ricky Rabies from CM Punk, but he probably fed a thing or two. Look, he's talked openly about crapping his pants on Monday Night Raw back in the day, and we have Wild Bill do that in the finale of the first season.
That scene,
Yeah, that's great.
I'm on the plane dying laughing during that scene of him crapping his pants.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. Like, when Crystal bangs Ace in the dressing room, it was just like, dang, that happened. Not with me.
No, never.
Not with me.
No.
But it was just like, somebody's really done a lot of research here, or
Did y'all?
Or we just thought of the most outlandish, depraved, awful things, and just did those.
Then that's what
and
we
it just
did.
so happens that it actually happened.
that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
So the reality is, you actually don't need to get the stories from the wrestlers. You just need to think of like
Aim low.
Aim low, and you get close.
and you're gonna get on the target.
No, lower.
Yep, lower.
Did each one of the characters try to pull something from maybe a wrestler that they grew up watching and said, I want to pull some attributes from those wrestlers and use that as part of my character on the show?
Yeah, I can't speak for the other actors. I know that Alexander Ludwig, who plays my brother, he did some work with Adam Copeland with Edge on I think he did Vikings, and so he would talk with him about stuff. I would talk with I talked with Cody a bunch, and would just pick Phil's brain whenever I was on set with him, and then of course just the people that I liked watching growing up. Just the utter disdain that you would look at fans with. When you walk out there and just playing the heel and just like just ripping someone's popcorn bag out of their hands when they're not looking, and just all of that sinister shit that I just love doing. Shut up! I used to love when Vince would go shut up like that, and so I would do stuff like that. And but I know Chris Bauer, Wild Bill. I mean, I should have asked him beforehand. I know that he's a massive fan. I brought him to the WrestleMania in Los Angeles to 39, and we were sitting like second row, and he was just like, he's like, I've only ever been to an independent show. This is the coolest thing ever.
Really?
Oh wow.
His character, who I saw him playing, to me, it felt like Jake the Snake.
Sure.
And it did for me. That and the reason why I say that is this: it had nothing to do with. It had everything to do with his intellect, with the way he spoke. You look at a guy that looks like this hillbilly, but he had a great vocabulary.
Yeah.
Which Jake the Snake on camera, at least,
No, he does.
had a phenomenal vocabulary, made you think about what he was saying, made you think about in those promos, how he cut those promos. That's why I saw Jake the Snake in that character.
But Jake the Snake crossed with Michael Hayes, maybe.
Sure.
Oh, I could see. Yes, I definitely see Michael Hayes in there. Yes.
Yeah, there's some Michael Hayes in it. That's the first one. As soon as I saw him on camera, I was like, damn, man, that's Michael.
I didn't even think about Michael Hayes. You just changed my mind on that one. I felt like a little Jake the Snake on the promos, though, of just the intellect side of things. Yeah.
I think one of the more interesting things that I've ever heard about the wrestling business from Cody was, he said to me, he's like, do you know why Jake never had a belt? And because I loved Jake the Snake.
Me too.
I loved him. His match against Ted DiBiase at WrestleMania 6 was my favorite match of the night. It was unbelievable. And Jake lost. He got counted out or something like that. He's like, no, he didn't have a belt because he didn't need one. Right? He was just like, he held the audience's attention. He didn't need to put a belt around his waist. Of course, he had a snake over his shoulder, but like, you know, I thought that was interesting, and that taught me a lot about character and what's important. Because, you know, Jack on heels, you know, he doesn't need the belt. He probably has it as a placeholder, you know, for Ace to chase him. But, you know, you want to be a character, and I think you were this way for your time, where I mean, you didn't need a belt.
No. I was an attraction. And,
yes, exactly.
Jake, going back to Jake. Jake's unbelievable. I mean, man, if Jake could have kept it together, he had such incredible mind for this business, and I traveled with him a lot when I first came up. Which was good and bad, as you can imagine. I learned a lot of good stuff and I learned a lot of bad stuff. But his mind for this business is just incredible. Like, he's the first one that ever told me, he says, your match starts when you go through the curtain.
Yep.
That's when your match starts, right? And it just never had dawned on me. Like, I was like, I should have known that, right? But he's just, so good.
Mark, I got to start doing better, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to start doing better. I got to start exercising. I got to start eating better. I just got to start making some changes in my life. I keep saying this.
How long are we going to talk about it?
It's been almost a year, but I got to do something different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna this holiday season, I'm gonna do better.
You're going to do better in the holiday season?
I'm going to do better during the holidays.
You're going to pick the holidays to do better.
It seems like a good time.
Okay, hey,
this
brother.
time,
Hey.
it's better than ever. It's better than ever.
All right.
And Magic Spoon's going to help me. I'm going to just eat Magic Spoon from sun up to sundown.
Huh?
I think that's what's going to do it. Our friends over there, they've got great product. You keep it in your house. You don't let your kids eat it.
No.
You're
No,
just
my
eating it
kid-
by
no,
yourself
No, I
at
hide
night.
it. No, I hide it because they would eat it, and they can get away with eating regular cereal. But
And everybody knows about the cereal, but not everybody knows about the treats here, man.
the treats,
Magic Spoon, they turn their popular cereal into high-protein treats that are light, crispy, and taste just like those classic crunchy cereal bars.
see, I'd have to have those because actually, my kids don't like milk. Well, one of my kids doesn't like milk,
Yeah.
so she'd eat that up quick.
Oh, yeah. So it's just Magic Spoon's brand new treats are delicious and have already become the favorite for an after gym snack, pre-workout,
Yeah.
all of those.
Yeah, I don't know how they make it taste so good with zero sugars, 4 net carbs, and loaded with protein,
Yeah.
and it tastes good.
It actually tastes good.
Yeah, like I don't.
And I think that's the one thing about it. When people see this stuff, they go, "Oh, it's probably going to taste like the box that it came in."
Right.
But
No,
in
you're
all
pleasantly
reality,
surprised.
You're pleasantly surprised. Absolutely.
How they do that?
Not mine. I have no idea, but they
Is
do
that
it.
the magic part?
That's the magic part. That's the magic part. Every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa. There's so many more, though, and Magic Spoon's brand new treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter.
That's got your name written all over it,
we
brother.
ran through these.
What? You got a mouse in your pocket? All I
And-
saw was an empty box.
For our fans and listeners, get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/6feet. Or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/6feet for $5 off. Magic Spoon, hold on to the dream.
Hold on to the dream. It's going to turn your world around,
It's
brother.
going to turn your world around. Thank you, Magic Spoon.
So how long did y'all have to train before y'all started filming?
Well, they put us. I'd had a bit of experience after doing my stuff with you guys in 2015, and then with I did a Ring of Honor show, and then I did All In 2018. So I had a little bit of a background, but they started to get us in a ring in early 2020, building up to an April start date, which ended up becoming an August-September start date. But no, they built us a ring in our Heels gymnasium. So one side we had our weights and our equipment, other side we had the ring, and we never really had to. I had so many ideas for the show in terms of like, wouldn't it be amazing if eventually we could actually film like a long form match, with a real crowd there, film it like they film it at a proper show. But we never got there, obviously. But these matches, aside from the entrances, which were incredibly important for the purposes of our show, and and the finish and the beginning, everything else would sort of become a montage. So we would be like, okay, what do we as actors in this match need to focus on? Okay, well, it's a duck a punch, whipped into the ropes, reversal, back body drop.
Right.
So that's what you would focus on. And it wasn't, aside from maybe my match, the last man standing match against Jack and Ace in the season 2 finale, that was the only time that we really got a chance to play a little bit. And even then, I would have loved 10 more minutes up on camera.
Spoken like a true wrestler.
2 more days.
10 more minutes.
Well, I could have got it all in.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
We'd have blown the roof on this thing.
Man,
If only. If only.
That's great. Spoken
Yeah, but I will say, the toughest thing to do and the toughest thing to get actors to do, because everyone wants to jump off the top rope, and everyone wants to do the table spot or the dumpster spot or the chair shot or the big thing that's going to make the trailer. What you actually have to do is learn to run the ropes, and really learn how to run the ropes, really learn how to take a flat back bump, and really, really learn how to lock up.
Yep.
Those 3 things. You can build everything from there.
Yeah. The first 2, which are probably the suckiest part of learning how to work, is
man.
hitting ropes and taking flatbacks. Those are the worst part.
I mean, the first time that I ever took a flat back bump was I was on Vancouver Island in BC in 2015. And, I was there. Cody was in the ring. Arn Anderson was there. Kofi was there. Roman was there. Bunch of people. They were doing a show that night. And, okay, take a flat back bump in the middle of the ring. And, man.
Did you hold your breath?
I don't know what I did. I nailed the.
I don't know what I did, but it was wrong.
I'll tell you what. I nailed the first one, and then I got cocky, and the second one just like that, and I just got up. And Cody went, just take a minute, man. Just take a minute. Just take a minute. And
People have no idea.
no idea.
They have no
I
idea.
mean, it's this one thing. It's like, okay, just fall on your back. People, oh, I could fall on my back. Okay, fall on your back then. Go ahead. Because if you don't attack it, then you snap your head.
Yep.
And although I gotta admit, I miss running the ropes, because that's when I would get into the gym in the morning. How I would warm up when I was typically weight training is I would go run the ropes, and once I really got going and I hit them, I'd get that mid-thoracic adjustment that I don't know how to get any other way.
Not a chiropractor in the world can make that happen.
No, they can't. No, I go to chiropractor and they'll be like, you gotta really get in there. I'll go like that, and then I hit the ropes.
That was the worst. Always coming back from injuries or whatnot was the first time you have to hit ropes. It's just because
Now, did it change in the business where? Because I feel like when Hogan hit the ropes, he would always hit it on his side.
People hit it differently.
Okay.
Yeah, some people hit it differently.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna rag on. I mean, Hogan's work was not his.
No,
it was not his forte.
Well, he was
his promo and his
he was
image.
an attraction.
Yeah. But the ones that, it's just. I think it's a personal preference and how hard you want to hit them. Some people like Braun Breaker right now, man. Wow. That dude, I can't even keep up with him. Like, he's like a blur going across. He's so athletic and so fast.
It looks sometimes like they doctored the footage.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how he generates so much speed.
On live TV, he's moving that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do start to appreciate something like when Bret Hart would hit the ropes, or hit the
turnbuckle
chest first.
Yes.
How,
dude? He would always ask me. I mean, he would launch me, because it helped him generate the speed and the power. Sure. And I don't know how, man. He took that thing right in the chest, and I was just like, but man, he was always good with it. So, but so those like the little thing. And when I try and teach people or I'm working with somebody, it's those little things like that though. How hard you hit a turnbuckle, how hard you hit the ropes, that capture people's attention.
Yep.
Or will turn somebody off from you, because if you hit real gingerly, it's like you just.
That's what I see more than anything is when guys hit the ropes, and I go back to like if those ropes don't bend. Like there was times where you hit the ropes and I thought you were going to hit the people in the front row.
Yeah.
And I hit them hard.
Yeah, and that's where like when you hit them like that though, boy, you're really. Like, I can really believe you're coming off those things and it's launching you across the ring to, dive and hit somebody or clothesline somebody or whatever. When you hit the ropes and they don't even move.
Yeah.
Why did you even hit the ropes?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, because I guess the idea is you're trying to generate power, more speed.
But it's not even moving them when you hit them. Why would you even hit them?
You're just running the wrong direction. That's all you're doing.
That's all you do is just waste time and energy.
I'm going to slip off into a tangent if we don't move into it. I'm going to have heat with everybody again.
No, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like when you're teaching people, I mean, just be able to do that because from a fan's perspective, I've never hit the ropes, but I'm like, as a fan's perspective,
to this day, you've never hit him?
No.
Come on, man.
No, Badass Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
I told him one time, I was like, hey, man, I want to come down to Florida and just get in the ring and you show me some stuff. He goes, you get in the ring, you last 10 minutes running the ropes. He said, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
That's all he said. He goes, you got to go 10 minutes running the ropes.
While we're on the subject of teaching people, I was chatting with Cody before coming on the podcast, and he said to tell you that at the Nightmare Factory, they show their students a clip of you in Vienna to teach them how to work the apron.
Yeah, there's a clip.
Have you seen this clip?
I have not.
Holy shit.
It's so back then. So you think okay. So there's two parts to that. There's one, you think you're in a house show in Vienna.
Yeah.
And you're not being. You just forget that there's cell phones and everything's going to make its way some way or another. Yeah. So obviously in the States on TV, I would never work this way, but I'm in the ring and I have an opportunity to teach and work with the young guys. And I guess Cody might have been one of the young guys.
Cody was in the match. It was Cody, Randy, and DiBiase.
Yeah. So you use those moments for, like, that's how I taught when I was still working. I mean, you can talk to somebody till you're blue in the face, but unless they experience it or see it, they don't sometimes, you perceive things differently than whatever it is my thought was, right? So we're working to a hot tag, and we've had a long heat, and it's almost time for me to. I've been out, and it's time for me to get that hot tag, right? And they've got close. He's gotten close a couple of times to giving me that tag, and it looks like me taking like the whole bucket of first Phorm ignition and just eating it. And
I have seen this video, and you go up and down the apron,
and probably about 8 lines of something else.
Yes,
and
I
then,
did. I have
and
seen
then
this.
the big thing, and it was funny because one of our security guys, it was like his spot to put the bottle of water on the top step with the lid off. Right, that was his spot. So he was like, he'd look at me, and I'd give him the Iggy, like get the bottle of water ready. So I'm storming back and forth. Then the water, right, and the water's spraying everybody, and no one ever sees me like that. So they're losing their mind, like, what the hell does this got into Undertaker? But that's just me teaching and trying to, like, this is important, and it's the little things. like I'm not doing anything, but I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
I'm making this tag that he's just sold. I'm making it mean something. And when I get in, this energy that I'm using here is the way you need to feed my comeback to make it keep rolling on. So, but yeah, it does. It looks like a
Tremendous YouTube clip. Just tremendous.
I saw it recently and I was like, crap. I was like, what the hell? What kind of pre-workout is Taker using? Well, it's First Phorm Ignition.
First Phorm Ignition. Get it in the link in our description.
But yeah, that's the only time I ever got, I really got to like, I would kind of get out of, not lose the character, but I would get out of character so I could
It's
let
definitely
people,
not in character.
No, to let people experience what it is to do certain things. But yeah.
Would you take those house shows and would you try to do, especially if you were working with somebody young? And I mean, speaking of the guys that were in the ring that night, I mean, especially you said Cody and DiBiase Jr. was in there, especially those two guys kind of coming up at that point. Did you try to make a point to try to teach?
Oh yeah.
During those house shows, especially?
Absolutely, 100%. That's the only time that those guys are going to get those kind of opportunities. There's no pressure on them whatsoever. The houses are sold out. They're non-televised. It doesn't matter, if you screw up, you screw up or you try something. Ain't nobody is going to know but who saw it, right?
Yeah.
And then we can dissect it when we get back to the back. But it's the ability to be able to get in the ring, and that was at that point there just wasn't enough guys left with experience that could do it. I mean, I was one of the few left that could actually have a match and then try and teach at the same time, because everybody else was. They were coming up, and that's what they had to focus on.
But I mean, how many times do you think a wrestler found their hook or found the thing that resonated with the crowd at a house show because they had this longer form match to play with?
Oh, it's so important.
Yeah,
I mean that's where, and I think it's probably different now, but that's where you throw things against the wall and see what's. I mean, there's so much stuff that I tried. That was like, that fell flat. But at least I tried it, and there was no damage done. The house shows that's the most valuable point. And a lot of times I would work with guys, especially on the long Europe tours. We do 14, 17 days, and most of those days, you'd have the same card, right? You're working with the same guys.
Yeah.
And guys about the third day come in and say, hey, we're going to do the same thing? No, we're doing something completely different.
Okay.
Well, that was working. I said, yeah, it worked fine. Let's do something different.
We know that will work.
We know that
we can
will
always
work,
go back to that.
But let's work on something else. And then after a while, they were like, oh, okay.
You got MF'd so many times when they walked away.
Oh no, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Oh man,
no doubt. Right? Yeah, no, I got a lot of MFs, I'm sure. But I think hopefully they appreciated it, down the line.
Sure.
But at that point, everybody wants to do their job and get back on the bus, go back to the hotel, and do their thing.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, I don't have long left, and I got to get this. I got to move this forward. So, unfortunately, you have to. You can't say no. You have to do what I'm saying because
I'm the Undertaker.
I'm tenured and yeah. It's just what it is.
Tenured. I'm tenured. No. Listen. When I did my first, kind of an only televised match with WWE, Cody and I were out in the ring with King Barrett, and Pac, and Cody turned to me and he goes, "Hey," and I go, "What's up?" And he goes, "You notice that it just got a little quiet out here?" And I went, "I actually did notice that." And he goes, "Hmm." And Mark had just walked in with Brock to start working on their match. Everyone just got quiet.
So in the locker room, it just...
No, we were out in the Barclays Center. We were out in the ring. It got quiet in the arena. This is before the...
That was for SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, yeah, 2015, yeah.
Yeah. That's that. It's.
Do you remember we did a backstage segment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You remember that?
I do remember.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay, I'm excited.
He remembers me.
I'm just upset y'all didn't remember me when y'all were filming.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, just consider. Where's the camera? Right there. Consider the invitation extended. Season 3 of Eels. You in?
Yeah, I can't. Well, I can't. I don't bump.
No.
I don't do jobs.
No, no. Listen, as long as
I'm not climbing under another ring.
Okay, you know what we'll do? We'll cast you as a guy, as a wrestler that consistently breaks the fourth wall and never stays true to his character.
Oh, beautiful!
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Considered a done deal.
Oh, it's a deal.
Mike O'Malley, I'm gonna text you about this.
Do you think
that way I don't have to do podcasts anymore?
Well, no, we can't pay you that well. Okay.
Believe me, we got a box of donuts over. That's all we're eating over here, brother.
It's true.
Help a brother out, will you?
I'll carry a bag or something?
Sure,
I don't know.
sure.
I'm not an athlete by any means.
No. Listen, that's another downside of the COVID of it all was, we wanted to have people from the business come in and be a part of the show.
Yeah.
And it just became such a logistical nightmare because you had to come and you had to stay. The only reason because in between season 1 and season 2, Phil went back to AEW, and I think when we were filming season 2, he had the belt, and the only way that they made it palatable and workable was because he was already in to the show.
Right.
But anyone that they wouldn't have taken anybody that was also, going and working with WWE or AEW wouldn't matter.
So were y'all? I mean, y'all weren't in the situation like the NBA was, like they were when they were in the bubble.
Man, that first season was like a bubble. I got in serious shit. I left and I went back to California, and I got reprimanded, and it was bad. I shouldn't have gone, but they also weren't totally upfront about the whole hey, you're coming to Georgia, but you can't leave. It's like, okay, but it's not. Citizens are allowed to travel domestically and internationally. Flights are flying, and they're like, yeah, but you can't fly. It's like, okay. And then, so that was weird. But then in the second season, it was strange again, because when we were on set, all of the protocols were like they were in 2020, except then you leave set and you're in Georgia, and the world is open.
The world is wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah, Georgia,
it's
Texas,
wide
Florida,
open.
all those
It's like, who are we doing this for? And the answer is we're doing it for the insurance companies to satisfy them, and which is why so many of the things, you'd go, okay, I mean, this doesn't make any sense, but fine, because you want to work, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just my level of comfort. It's, and this, it's like, you sit and you watch a WWE pay-per-view, and you see the in-ring talent, but I mean, you think about the number of people that employs and the number of people that it's their livelihood. And so for us, it's the crew, it's the people in the office, it's it's the people that work at the network. Like, if they don't have shows to put on the air, then they're out of the job. So so you do it. You just nod and say thank you, and mutter an MF under your mask.
Yeah. So I'd have to imagine. I mean, I'm sure actors or those crews, or do you get to a situation where you have to entertain yourself? And
how do you mean?
I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just saying, just debauchery and pranks. You're stuck. Everybody's kind of there together.
Well, yeah.
Are you playing pranks on each other?
Sure, but you couldn't, right? Part of one of the things I love about acting, man, I just finished up a job in Toronto, and you get to know the crew. You become friends with people. On Arrow, by the end of it, I'm the crew is like my family. Often more often than not, more so than the cast, because I'm working this disproportionate amount, and I still have great friends. But when we were filming Heels, and really that should have been the show where there are pranks, and it does turn into a little bit like a locker room. Maybe not a locker room in the 70s or the 80s, but like a locker room nonetheless. And it didn't, because it couldn't. because we weren't allowed. I mean, you literally could not eat lunch with the crew. Wow. It was wild. And I would run into people, especially during the second season, out on the street in Atlanta. Like, hey, Stephen, how you doing? Hi. I work on heels. Hey. Because I never, ever, ever saw them without their mask on.
Wow.
Ever.
That's I think right now, for the success you guys had, man, with the gloves off, I think a third season, man. I think a third season wide open.
Yeah,
dude. I think
look at the guest stars we're gonna have.
Well,
this is amazing.
Even without that, I'm just saying, man. I had no clue. I honestly, I didn't even factor in the COVID issue.
Yeah, I didn't realize you guys were filming during COVID.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, listen, that state fair that we shot, I don't know how they got away with that. I don't know how, because they were basically taking nowadays they would do the entire thing on a sound stage, and it would all be VFX. But we were in a real state fair arena just outside Atlanta. And we were allowed maybe like 125 extras, but it's supposed to be a crowd of 5,000-6,000 people.
Right.
So they're just literally just whipping these people around the arena.
Pockets.
Yeah, it was crazy. No, I think with the gloves off, it would be great because, we really should start to see more stuff like, Jack and Ace drunk in a bar doing karaoke, and so create scenes like that and really get into the community, which is, I think, what people like about the show, right? The wrestling goes along with it, but it's about people that are trying to make it out of this small town. Mm-hmm. And so it would be nice to see more of the town and how people interact there.
That is that's the biggest small town ever. It's got everything. But it's a little town.
Duffy.
It's got everything. It had Crystal. It had.
What is Crystal?
I love the product placement is awesome, man.
Yeah.
The Smirnoff Ice.
Sure.
It's great.
Yeah. I don't think they paid us a dime.
Yeah. But yeah, for a small town, it got everything.
Also,
got a strip joint, got everything.
A small promotional wrestling like that. I remember going to a high school gymnasium with about 200 people there. Apparently, they're drawing 10,000. or the Duffy Arena, it's standing room only outside for some of these matches.
I'll tell you, you would love the Duffy Dome. I mean, it's a set. The exterior is something that you can visit in Georgia, but that set, if we could actually pack it with people, you could put on a banger of a show there.
Oh yeah,
it would be fantastic. It reminds me of where they would where they would hold a lot of the ECW events back in the day.
Raw when Raw started.
Yeah, exactly right.
Small.
Was that the Hammerstein Ballroom? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's not dissimilar.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. The people are right on top of you.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they are legit. Like this Scranton CYC, the Catholic Youth Association building.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can actually almost touch them, but it's such an atmosphere when you're got a
If
good
I could
heel.
go back in time, I would love to go to a match at like that venue or at the ECW venue.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
And I would want to sit on the balcony. I feel like that's you have to be on the second level. I feel like the second level was probably getting sold out quicker than floor
Well,
seats.
because if you're on the lower level, if you're not first or second row, then
yeah. But so on heels, the family aspect I think is the most interesting part of all of it, right? Mm-hmm. And I've told people that I work with and everything else, like, you got to watch it, and a lot of them are like, I'm not into wrestling or whatever, and I'm like, this isn't a wrestling show.
Yes.
It's not a wrestling show, in my opinion. I was like, it is about family. It's about struggle. It's about something that he's talked about multiple times, where you're working and you're getting paid $25 to wrestle, or you made $50 that week and you wrestled 50 times.
Yeah.
And it was like $1 a match, it felt like. But you were doing it because you were passionate about it.
Yeah.
You loved what you were doing. You loved waking up every day and being a wrestler. And you see it through those characters, where those guys they're not making a lot of money. The cars they drive are rough looking and they can barely crank up and everything else, but they pour everything into their character.
Well, I mean,
being a wrestler.
It's the same corollary as we were talking earlier about hitting the ropes. If you're going to do it, you got to hit them hard. Otherwise, they don't move, right? So it doesn't matter if you're wrestling for 6 people or 60,000, right? You got to give it, or you're not going to advance. And of course, and one of the romantic things about wrestling is you just never know who's in the crowd, right? You never know who's watching. You never know you never know who catches some move that you try, on a cell phone camera, and all of a sudden it goes viral, and then you're, so you can dream big. It's very similar to, what I do as an actor, and I think that people think that it's a lot more romantic than it is. I mean, there's always, you never go from 0 to 60 ever. There's always steps along the way. But, there is that opportunity to, when you're in front of a live crowd, there's always that opportunity to catch lightning in a bottle and then use that to catapult yourself.
Yeah. And I felt like your character also had to play this. You could see the vision. You saw the future. You knew what your product could be.
Trying to get all these knuckleheads in line, right?
Yeah. And
That's
then
right.
you're looking at your wife, and you've got a kid, and you're barely making the light bill. You're barely putting groceries on the table. You're over here trying to sell lawnmowers on the, that should be your full-time job, but in your mind, that's your part-time job. And all you want to do is get the new fog machine, because that fog machine is going to be really cool, and that's going to draw people to come back the following week after being there that week. And you're racking up a credit card to be able to buy those things, because hopefully if you do that the next week, it's just such a balance.
Great storytelling.
The storytelling's amazing.
It's a great match, and that's what wrestling is storytelling, and the show is a great.
Yes. The show is such a great story because of it's beyond the actual wrestling part of it. All the stories there, and it feels real.
Or even stuff like having in the second season, I think we have a scene where Bill teaches everyone how to cut a promo, right? Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
When Bill shows up to watch Ace wrestle, you as an actor, you guys are sitting here reading this script. Do you feel like Jack did it intentionally because he was jealous, or did he do it because he truly felt like Ace wasn't ready?
Both. I don't want to sit on the fence, but the more interesting answer is jealousy, straight up. Like, the more interesting answer is, this caught me off guard. This blew my socks off. I can't let this happen. Where does that leave me?
That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Because
that's more interesting.
I got more respect for you that way.
Yeah.
Well, the way I interpret that because anybody that's got a sibling, or especially if you're if you have brothers or whatever, there's a sense of rivalry there, right? Mm-hmm. And for you, looking at that, it's like, man, you've put in all this work. Well, you're the one carrying this business. You're doing all this stuff, and he's gonna. He didn't even want to be a wrestler.
Probably a better in-ring storyteller too. If I'm gonna, wow, we're here for a second. No, but I do think that I think that all those things are true. This should be me. This is not going to go the way that you think it's going to go.
Yeah,
and that's that. But I also think that as his older brother, I'm the hero of this story. I am doing the right thing. Is it underhanded? Yeah. Am I going to embarrass him? Yeah. Should I probably have just pulled him aside backstage? Sure. But like, that's not how it works. No.
Yeah. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
Well, in independent wrestling, I mean, that's had to have happened a million times. Where
independent wrestling. Oh, wow. Kidding me? Up and down the line, brother. Yeah. You kidding me? I mean,
I'm just there thinking somebody's in the stands, and you're like, that's a guy from, WWE or WCW or whatever it was at the time. And it's like,
yeah.
And he's here to see this guy that I've got to wrestle. Screw that.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I take care of him. Maybe I'm the guy that he decides to come up to and to the big show. I don't know. But yeah, watching that, it was, but as the series went, you realized what you did was the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like. He wasn't ready. I think back, for me personally, I got my first sort of real big job when I was in my late 20s, and I think I handled it relatively well, but there were still pitfalls along the way, and there were still things that, you know, if I look back, if I could have a do-over, I don't want a do-over per se, but like you look back at certain decisions that you make and you go, oh, Jesus Christ, like what was I thinking? And, you know, why was I not more patient, and why was I not more thoughtful? And that was in my late 20s. If the same thing had happened to me in my early 20s, it would have been a disaster, you know? So it's one of the reasons why, you know, I would like to make more heels, and I hope that, you know, my new show on NBC goes well, which would ironically probably lead to an easier path towards making more heels, is because, you know, I've had these experiences now, and I can be, you know, a little bit more level-headed and patient and appreciative and have a bit more gratitude and all of those things.
Yeah. Do you think there is a path to a third season?
I think if there wasn't a path to a third season, that Netflix would have left it and let it collect cobwebs.
Yeah.
Dust, gather dust.
Gather dust.
Yes. The dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just keep our fingers crossed. So you got what? Can we talk about what you got coming up?
Sure. Yes, of course.
So it's kind of a reboot. Is that a correct?
No. So
No?
So Suits, the original show, aired on USA Network, and Suits LA is going to the mothership. It's going to NBC, and you know, the original was set when it started, which I think was 2013 or thereabouts, maybe earlier, maybe like 2010, and you know, this one's set in 2025, but it exists just different coasts, same idea, you know, lawyers, law firm, but we go from, you know, your typical law that you would find in New York of, you know, Corporation X sues Corporation Y to, you know, I'm more of an entertainment lawyer. Our law firm is an entertainment and criminal defense law firm, which
Interesting.
is, I don't think exists in the real world, but for the purposes of our show, we try to meld those two things together. And, but my character is a contemporary of the lead actor from the first show, Harvey, Gabriel Macht. Yeah.
So it's based in LA though.
Based in LA. It's the same creative team. A lot of the same directors, a lot of the same writers. And Aaron Korsh created the original, and he created this one. We had our big table read yesterday. The show got moved from production in Vancouver to production in Los Angeles. So everybody and their brother wanted to be there yesterday for the table read to look at their shiny new toy. And, you know.
Break that down for me, because I really don't know. What is
Like a table read?
Yeah, a table read.
Okay, so it's atypical to have a table read with that many people there for the second episode of a show. But let's say you put together a show, like name any show, like a big show, like well, let's just say Suits LA. The first table read, before you've gone into production, you get big room, bunch of cameras, and everyone in the cast is basically on one side of the table, and they sit down and you read the script aloud. Someone will read the stage direction, and then on the other side of the table, you have the creator and the executive producer and the executive producer and the writers. And then you get into network executives, and then you get into studio executives, and everyone's there. And, you know, it's a unique scenario because you are effectively, you're performing the episode, but you have to perform it in a way that's, you have to emote a lot more. Mm-hmm. Sort of like you do your one-man show, right? And you might tell a story that you would tell very differently on stage than if you were just telling it to a buddy at a bar, right? Right.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of actors fall victim to that. A lot of actors, you know, they want to mumble their line, or they want to, you know, take that quiet moment. And I always tell people, because I've never known any different, and I've always done well with them. It's like, no. There are going to be moments where you can have your quiet moment. It's not at the table read. People want to be able to hear you. You know, they want you to sit up and smile and be presentable. You know, when I was auditioning for Arrow back in the day, I went in for a network test, and the network test is go in to read the lines in like in an office on the Warner Brothers lot. But much like Jake taught you back in the day, that's not the real audition. How do you walk into the room? Mm-hmm. Do you look people in the eye? Do you shake their hands? Do you tell a joke? Are you personable? They think of it like, okay, how is this person going to look when they walk out on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon? Right? So you are a little bit of a show pony, kind of, actually. So that was, I mean, and I never knew any of this. Before my first table read, I couldn't figure out why my manager was like, get a good night's sleep, be prepared. I was like, okay, sure, fine. But there have been actors that have been cast in big parts, leads in network shows or an HBO show, and they bomb the table read and they get fired.
I was about to ask you, has anyone gotten fired at a table read?
I was going to be a little more grabs. It really is could be like a butt pucker moment sitting there at the table with all the execs, and I mean, if you don't,
I mean, listen. I mean, if you start off and you stammer a little bit and you get in your head, you know, it's like anything. You know, I've never seen anyone get fired that I know of. I've heard about it. But I know actors that are, you know, they do not excel at table reads at all. The story is that, and I don't know the level of truth to it. I don't know, but the legend is that Meryl Streep, her level of preparation and what she brings in to a table read before a film has gotten people fired, because she's like a tour de force and ready to go. And if you're not at her level, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
It's the holiday season. Mm-hmm. People are going to probably eat a little too much, maybe put a few pounds on.
Oh, yeah.
I've been known to do that.
Yeah, you started early.
Yeah, I started back in like March.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this time of the year, you don't have to be terrible. You can still work out. You can still try to get that workout in. Mm-hmm. Something that's going to help you, give you a little bit of motivation, is that first Phorm ignition. That right there, buddy. That'll get you off the couch.
That'll get you off the couch.
And that will get you in the gym.
Yep. And this is definitely bulking season.
Bulking season.
So yeah, you got to use stuff. You have to use stuff like ignition to get you going, man. And first Phorm, man, they hit it right on the mark with this. You get a little bit of that in your system, yeah. A full belly, yeah, you're going to want to hit the gym.
And you know, we don't promote anything that we actually don't believe in. This is something you've said off camera and everything else. Their pre-workout.
Oh, it's
legit.
Oh, it is legit. There are many times where I have to go in deep because I don't feel like training. I don't have to anymore if I don't want to.
And that makes it tough.
And it does make it tough. So and I'm not sometimes I have super discipline and sometimes not so much. But I tell you what, if I get in the ignition, well, I'm gonna work out
whether you want to or not.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I got to burn that off. And no, first Phorm, first Phorm definitely got it right there. And what a product!
Absolutely, they've been with us essentially since the beginning. Great folks over there that make great products, great human beings, great Americans. We love everything about what they're doing. You know, this holiday season, it's fine. If you want to eat that extra piece of pumpkin pie, that's fine. But just remember.
What about some white meat turkey? Like the late night, why does it got to be pumpkin pie?
I love me some good pumpkin pie, boy. Let me tell you something.
Might we digress there?
Oh, and the casseroles. Dude. Man alive. I'm not a turkey guy.
You're not a turkey guy.
I like turkey sandwiches.
What's
I
your
don't
meat
like
of choice?
Ham. Give me a ham.
Figured.
Oh, man. My ankles will be swollen by like Saturday from all the ham I eat.
You swallow all that sodium.
All that sodium.
Blowed up like a puffer fish.
It's bad. It's bad. It's to a point where like I have to. So I buy a ham for myself for the whole weekend. I'll cook it at the house and I'll eat the whole thing. myself.
I don't need to know all
Yeah,
that.
so it's pretty bad. So, but come Monday,
Take that home with you.
after Thanksgiving,
Take that home with you.
I'm going to start my first Phorm regiment and get back in the gym and get myself in shape. That's the only way I can do it.
I normally hoard all the ignition when we have it here on set. Take that with you.
Take this one with me.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate First Phorm, guys. Go check out First Phorm. The link is in our description, and get yourself some great products. They got all kinds of stuff over there. They got beef sticks. They got the pre-workout. They got the proteins. They got everything you want. Some
Protein's
really,
solid too.
yeah,
Yeah.
really good flavors there. The stuff works. Go check them out. Thank you, First Phorm, for supporting our podcast. We appreciate it. If Meryl Streep shows up on heels, that would be.
And she needs to get color. What the? I'll do it. I'll go freaking ear to ear. He's like, get me the hell out of here. They're losing
She's
it.
that white hair. She looks like Flair.
Right, color.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Oh man, that was. Hey, listen, that was the thing where when I did my run-in with Cody, the thing that I didn't really ever understand was, they told me, they go, all right, he's going to come out, he's going to face wash you, you're going to jump in the ring. I'm going to get in there, Phorm tackle him, get on top of him, and then try to rain down elbows and like forearms and stuff like that. Don't use your knuckles. We don't want you to break a knuckle or something like that. And then it was Road Dogg, who was our agent. He was like, and try to squeeze one through there. He's a big boy. He can cover up. And I'm like, pardon? He goes, try to squeeze one through. Because if you get him and you cut him, it's good for us. I went, what? And he went, red equals green, big guy. And I'm
Red
like,
equals green.
okay, there it is.
Road Dogg. I'll see him Tuesday. I'm gonna give him a little pat
Please
on the
say
back
hello
for that.
for
I
me.
will. I will.
Red equals green. I love that.
You ever heard
Have
that
you never
before?
heard that one?
No.
Wow.
Red
That's
equals
anybody. The Flair guy would know red.
I mean, it makes sense. Absolutely. I mean, it's between Flair and Dusty, I don't know how they had any blood left in them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
The worst I ever saw, and I've mentioned this match a million times, was Cody versus Dustin in Vegas.
That was uncomfortable. Yeah, that was really uncomfortable. I thought that was some of the best storytelling that I've ever seen in a wrestling match. Because to get a pop like that for a hug, you know, at the end of it, that was something. But yeah, no, he might have gone too deep on the with the blade on that one.
That one got I think Dustin got a little carried away. With the gimmick.
It's a genetic thing.
Just comes with the name.
Yeah.
I never thought about that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
You ever see the color that Eddie Guerrero got for JBL? Holy crap! Mm-hmm. Well, look that one up one day. They might not even have it on.
Was that pre them changing the mats out between the matches too?
It's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. You think of, some of the ones that pop in your heads, of course, the Flair ones, but and Dusty, but Stone Cold too, when he's in the sharpshooter.
Yep.
Dude, I got one during the Attitude Era when I worked with Triple H. Mm-hmm. I think which was Houston. I think it was like what
17
at the Astrodome. We hot shotted it. That's awesome. You got points with me right there.
He's got them all written in his hand.
Oh, has he got Rocky Cliff Notes in his hand?
No.
He's just always trying to stir. Man, I got one in the Attitude. I guess that was still the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And they actually blurred it out on TV.
It was that bad.
Yeah. It was. My hands were. So he hit me with the sledgehammer. But my hands were handcuffed, which put me in a different. I can't do it. I can't talk too much more about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just can't. I can't.
Got too much kayfabe in
Too
you.
much kayfabe left in me.
Well,
anyway, it was a malfunction. It went way. I had 17 staples.
Oh gosh.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, I looked like Herman the Monster Boy. It was bad.
I was actually before WrestleMania 33. I was at a bar. I think Cody was there. I was with my buddy Zach, who's here, and someone knew the order of the matches for the next day, and I went, "What is it?" And they told it, and then I went, "Taker and Roman are going last." He went, "Yeah," and I went, "Oh," and I put it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. Matt still bothers me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not that I lost, but just like I stayed a little long. I stayed a little long I didn't have enough for him that I'd like to give him. My body was just at that point. My body was in the shutting down, and I shouldn't have been in that match, but anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, 10 years prior.
10 years prior.
Yeah, 10 years prior, with the body that you had 10 years prior to that match, though, with Roman Reigns, would have been.
I kicked his ass.
Well, I was there. I was there for you and Flair at 18 in Toronto. You guys were great. That was a great match.
Yeah,
Arn's run-in was fantastic in that match.
Iconic spine buster.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That was the greatest spine buster I ever took.
Oh, fantastic! I
Well,
love to
you
hear
took
that.
it from the best. So you took it from the best.
That was a lot of fun. I remember Vince coming to me that year. I didn't have an opponent.
Yeah.
And he comes up to me. He goes, he's like apologizing to me. He goes, "Mark," he goes, "Yeah, we booked all this out, and I don't have anybody for you." He says, "You can either have RVD or Flair," and no, nothing against RVD because I had really good matches with RVD.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, "Flair," and he looked at me like, "What?" I'm like, "I want Flair." Mm-hmm. And he couldn't grasp it because Flair had a run in the WWE, but he wasn't a WWE guy. Mm-hmm. For me, it's Ric Flair. I said, at WrestleMania, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I want Flair. And Flair was on the backside of his career, but still, that whole thing was a lot of fun. That's where I went and beat up his kid at the training center. That was one of my favorite vignettes that I ever did. When I would beat David up and he was training to be a wrestler, and I go in there and just take him in the bathroom and just smoke him, just whack. And I cut the promo in the shower stall with him sitting there bleeding.
I remember that.
It was so good. That was so much fun.
Did you and Flair have a program before that at all? Did you ever work with him?
We worked some house shows.
Yeah, but nothing
on TV.
Yeah.
We'd only worked on a few house shows, and it was a good time, man.
Yeah.
A good time.
That's pretty special for you to be in there with the greatest wrestler of all time. Oh, whoa!
Yeah, I mean,
He understands that. He's the greatest character of all time.
It's true.
Yeah,
That is true.
that's it. That's all you got.
a pretty good guy. Yeah,
Damn, pound for pound, pretty damn good barbecue eater too.
pound for pound.
Well, never mind. Forget
Yeah,
that.
don't even. I'm a world champion over here. I can put some groceries away. Yeah,
That's why your sweatshirt's big.
I'm growing into
for
it.
barbecue later.
I'm growing into it.
It's an eating machine.
Oh, really?
Oh my God!
Okay.
I've never seen anything like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
pretty.
It's a gift.
I'm excited to see it.
I'm not
one
really,
of these days.
I'm not good at a lot of things, but I'm good at one thing. I can put some groceries away. Yeah, Terry Black's essentially.
Yeah.
Have you had Terry Black's yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh!
gosh.
If you're in, you should
Terry Black's.
Terry Black's.
Done
Oh
deal.
yeah. Nate Boyer's got a guy.
He does?
Yeah, that can get you because the line is usually long.
Okay.
But he can take care of you. Yeah, he can. He's got a. There's another entrance.
Sure,
Yeah.
okay.
There's another entrance.
Yeah,
That's
use the
usually
Nate
what-
card. You get some
Yeah,
Terry Black's.
Yeah.
Nate's a
that's
good guy. I don't like to go anywhere near Nate in the gym, though. Nate Boyer is a maniac.
Yeah.
It's a
He
maniac.
absolutely is a maniac. We've had him on the show, and
Yeah.
just the nicest guy in the world too. On top
yeah,
of it,
that's
but
true.
yeah, he is a man. He could go hard in the paint, and I don't. Yeah, I stay away from
with
that.
a stupid smile on his face too.
the
That's the
nicest
thing.
guy in the world.
That's the thing I don't like.
Yeah, he's the nicest
I
guy.
hate
in the
those
world.
kind of people.
Yeah, he could kill you.
He can kill you and not even.
Yeah, he's just the nicest
Oh,
guy.
I gotta kill you, buddy. I gotta kill you.
It's like
What? Are you being serious? I can't tell because you're smiling, Nate.
I'm smiling because I'm thinking how I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I got to do it quick too. I got a Texas football game I got to go watch.
There it is.
He's constantly texting every Saturday. He just texts me about football. That's I get 50 text messages from him about football too. So he's an awesome guy. So something we love to do on here
Okay.
is something I love to do, and to hear the differences of everyone is Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore of wrestlers for you. What is Stephen Amell's?
Do we abstain from?
No,
okay.
you don't even.
Okay.
You can put him on there. You don't have. There's people that have. There's people that haven't. There's
How many people are on Mount Rushmore?
4.
There's 4.
I don't know why I didn't think about this beforehand. Hulk has to be there for me. Stone Cold. Mark. Undertaker. And I think The Rock.
That hurt, didn't it? That one hurt, didn't it?
I'm sorry,
doesn't
guys.
know
I'm
the
just,
rules.
I'm just a WWE guy.
He's a WWE guy.
I'm just a
What you
WWE
expect?
And
guy.
that's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I think The Rock, like just the kind of the overall the persona and the spectrum of the type of match, like comedy, storytelling, hardcore, just like can just kind of roll with it. I think, I was in the house for Hogan Rock at WrestleMania 18.
Wow.
And for him to, because that crowd was like 50-50 when it started out. And then it just changed. It just became, it was all Hogan. And for him to he just flipped like right there.
He understood the moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He
Yep.
just everything completely pivoted, full heel in 30 seconds. And, it's like, I know I was so nervous when I went out for my first match at SummerSlam that I forgot to get in the ring. Right. So for
Wait.
I forgot to get in the ring. I got out there and when I went back through the curtain, Cody was like, "You forgot to get in the ring." And I go, I know. Because you walk out there and the moisture sucks right out of your mouth. And he was like, if you had gotten in the ring, I was going to powder out, but you didn't. You forgot to get in. And I went, yeah, I know. So for him to go to the ring with expectation A, see the reaction, and just completely go down a different path, because, I think because of age, but I also just think, I think Hogan was hurt. He had to do the heavy lifting in that match, and he did.
As an actor, you've got to have a lot of respect for that, because in that moment, it's not like Rock can go, all right, cut real quick, guys. Hey, the crowd is a lot different. Hogan, I think we need to switch this whole thing around a little bit.
Yeah.
Here. In Hollywood, you have the ability to, hold on, I got a different idea.
Right.
In that moment, you can't really do that.
Right. So I guess that he did as a wrestler the thing that's the most important thing to do as an actor. He listened. Mm-hmm. Like he had the calmness, and he had the sense of the situation, and he had the ability to slow everything down, be logical, and listen.
Mature too.
Yeah.
All those things.
One of the things that I've enjoyed so much as an actor over the past 10, 12 years is the amount that I've gotten to work. When they say roll sound and when they say action, nothing happens to my heart rate. There's a little shot of adrenaline, which is why you can shoot a courtroom scene all day and get to the end of the day and be exhausted, because every time they do say roll sound or they call action or they call cut, there's a little bit of a boom in your body like that, but my hand is steady. So if someone that I'm doing a scene with goes off in a direction that I didn't anticipate, I'm not married to the idea that I've come into the scene with. I try to be as pliable as I can possibly be. And so when he does that in that match, it's like, if he had just been, no pun intended, been bullheaded and just went, no, this is what we set up, this is what we're going to do, then the match then we wouldn't be talking about the match right now.
It was one of the most electric moments that I've ever been.
You can't overstate the crowd.
Yeah.
The camera's shaking. People were jumping up and down. It was like everyone. It was 2004, 2003, and for like 15 minutes for me, it was 1988, and nothing had changed in the world.
Yeah.
Just for the period of that match, unreal.
Yeah,
And I think what Rock did earlier this year,
Oh yeah,
it's some of his best work ever. You know what I mean?
I
And
would
for
agree.
him to do what he did, and for them to be very nimble as well. I mean, for Triple H and everybody to kind of see, and what they did was they listened to the crowd,
that's it.
and they realized,
Again, he listened
yeah,
for sure because he heard
yep,
and he listened. How does he take a choke slam still? Good?
He's a little heavier than he used to be, but my shoulder ain't quite what it used to be either.
those pants were not the right pants for him to wear for you to be able to grab a hold of him for that choke
A
slam
little
either.
tight, a little tight.
Yeah, there wasn't much there for you to grab.
No, he did all right, man.
Yeah, and that's a testament to him, and I think that's another reason why putting him on the Mount Rushmore makes sense. So yeah, well, Suits is coming out. Do you know what date?
I do. It's coming out on February 23rd. Let's run this by me just in case that needs to be a bleeped thing. Yeah, they're putting it on Sunday nights on NBC. February 23rd. It's a cool date. It's that's 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl's on it's on Fox this year. It's NBC next year. Otherwise, we definitely would have premiered after the Super Bowl.
That would have been huge.
Jesus, Murphy. But no, I think that I don't know when they're going to start promoting it, but I sort of think that maybe you'll see a big trailer for it during an NFL game, leading up to the holidays. But they might just kind of do the Christmas thing and then start promoting in the new year. Although they'll definitely want to put it on the back of the NFL, and NBC has college football now as well. And they'll want to make sure that people see it there.
And when does season 3 of Heels start filming? Any day now?
I need to get in shape. You got to let me know. I'm gonna have to get in shape.
Why don't we aim for like June, July?
I think I'm free.
By the way, Mike O'Malley, I don't know why you guys didn't tell me that you were big fans of the show. I'm going to call him after this. He's going to his pants. He's going to be so excited. This is wonderful.
And if our audience has not watched Heels, which I would imagine most of them have, go to Netflix and watch it.
Yeah, go to Netflix, check it out. It's we got 16 episodes there. They say it's 2 seasons, but there's no time difference between the end of episode 8 and the start of season 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
It's actually there's no time cut at all. It's a direct pickup. So go check it out. Ignore your family, spend an entire day watching it on a Sunday.
Binge.
Binge.
And hit it. Don't just hit it with the thumbs up, the double thumbs up. It's a thing.
I mean, this is Suits going over to Netflix. Was that one of the big reasons why they decided to do another season of it?
Yeah, 100%. And listen, it's nowadays when Heels goes to Netflix, what do people say? They say, well, we hope it gets the Suits treatment. Suits, they shot 9 seasons. They made 134 episodes.
Syndication.
They had a good run. That's it. Arrow did 170. They had a really good run. But, it's a very digestible show, and it got on Netflix, and something happened.
Yeah.
And now a lot of people, Heels included, are trying to, recreate that magic.
Well, we have 600 some odd thousand subscribers at this point. So
Okay.
Let's see if all of them will go over, watch some Heels, give it that double thumbs up.
Yeah.
And maybe it will drive the ratings up to where
And
they're forced to do a season
you know what?
3.
And whatever type of character you want Mark to play in the 3rd season, just pop it in the comments.
Put it in the comments below.
Best idea wins, guys. Best idea wins.
What have we done? What have we done here?
So,
all right. Hey, well, it's nice to see you, brother.
Very nice to see you, man.
Mark's going to be the exterminator for
Eggman. Eggman's going to come back and haunt me.
Well, I mean, what you should do is straight up, you should sit down with Mike, and you should just go over like the worst character pitches that you were ever given?
Eggman finally appears.
Anyway,
Okay.
Eggman.
I don't know if I'm barking up the right tree or the wrong tree.
Eggman finally appears.
What is Eggman?
You don't know Eggman?
You don't know Eggman?
No.
so we thought we were done. We just getting started. So I was in WCW.
Okay.
I go in an interview with Vince, right? I have this interview at his house. The meeting, right?
Yeah, I've
the
heard,
meeting at his house.
I've heard this story. Yeah.
I end up. He goes, "Well, we don't have anything for you now." I'd already given my notice because I thought I was going to overwhelm. I was going to overwhelm him. So I go home. Actually, funny enough, they tell me to go out and read for this part in the worst movie ever made, Suburban Commando.
Oh God.
Yeah, right? See?
Saw it in the theater.
Oh, no, you did.
I did. Yeah.
No, you did.
Of course
not.
I did. Yeah.
Oh, it's
got Hogan in it. Of course you went
I
and saw
mean,
it.
it's
thought
in the list, right? It's got to be in the list.
At the time, I thought it was going to win all the awards.
Yeah.
It's a massive
That was the worst flyer I've ever seen in my life. Okay. You're a dead man, Ramsey. Anyway, so I do that, and then so I get done with that, and we're getting close to Survivor Series, and they break out this promotion where they got the giant egg on the set.
Oh God.
I thought that was going to be me. Oh my God.
Do
And
you
they were
remember
going to
this
make
at
me.
Survivor
Oh,
Series?
do I ever?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
it? The
and they-
gobbledygooker?
Yes.
Something like that? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but I thought they were going to make me
Oh
like
my
Eggman
God.
and make me like shave my head and my eyebrows and everything off, and I was terrible because I was like a old school, like I was drawn to WCW or NWA and all that, and Vince had all these crazy characters at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought anyway. So one day I get a phone call, and I answer the phone. Hello, is this the Undertaker?
Oh, right.
Yeah, right. And then I'm like,
Not Eggman.
Undertaker. It's not. Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful.
Hell yes, I'm the Undertaker because I knew. Yeah, but yeah, I get a little. Yeah, that Eggman thing. Still, I have a little anxiety about.
Eggman. Showing up at the DWL
There it is.
Saturday night, 8 p.m.
Yeah, and you could be my valet.
Eggman versus Wild Bill. Come on out. Well, this was fun.
Thanks.
It
guys.
was fun.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
We really appreciate it. I'm in the middle of rewatching Blue Mountain State right now.
Oh wow. Yep.
Yeah, which
OGQB.
yeah, you were the starting quarterback, Mr. Christian
Yeah.
Bible Thumper himself.
That's it.
Won't comment on what kind of ladies you would like to go see. Apparently,
I can't even remember. Straight up.
Right?
I can't remember.
I don't.
Have you ever watched Blue Mountain State?
I have not.
Oh my gosh,
It's something.
Yeah.
Varsity Blues, the
Yeah.
movie Varsity Blues,
Gotcha.
essentially made for a series.
Okay.
What did it air on? What was the?
Was it Spike?
Yeah, I mean, because there's like cursing and
I think
everything
it
else.
might have
in
been. I think it might have aired on Spike while Raw was on Spike
yeah,
back in the day.
it was.
I must have been busy. I must have been working.
You were. It was
You were.
definitely.
Yeah,
it
no,
was
you were.
definitely. Yeah, and it's a funny show.
Oh, yeah, well, I guess.
It's one of those while you're on a flight or something, you might not want to watch it at the house. You've still got kids running around. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't watch it at the house. Well,
All right,
Stephen,
Stephen.
Appreciate it,
we
guys.
appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for coming by, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Come back
Welcome
anytime.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em.
Attaboy.
Go Gamecocks.
Oh, jeez.